Oh, go live. Hello, welcome. I think we're live. This is my first time going live with interacting with people, and I don't know how that's going to all work out. So bear with me. Live chat. Okay, so we're on in the phone, we're on the tablet. So this tells me we could walk around and get to know everybody. So it looks like there's a lag. So welcome to Entropy and You. And we'll give you a little tour of my Mad Scientist studio. And yeah. Let's go over to the wall. So presumably people can see me, but there's a lag. And then it doesn't know. Oh, error. YouTube is not receiving enough video. Oh man. That's too bad. Error. Buffering. We're not buffering. That's too bad. But I don't see anybody joining us yet, so that's okay. So this is a test. Of what we encounter and why. I'm not sure if it works or not. Current viewers. I guess this usually happens on your first live stream, huh? Let's go to the desk. So we'll stay here a while. It says now that its stream is healthy. It's 7:05. And I can see my phone following. I can see the tablet following. And there doesn't seem to be. Interesting. So what I'll do actually is I'm gonna change to, I'm gonna mirror my laptop. This way I can walk around and I'll know if there's any problems with that. I'll even have my phone. So we're going to go to the zone wall. We're going to walk to the wall. So here we are in my Mad Scientist Lair. You might recognize this from the cover of the book, this mural here. It has to do with entropy and how the Big Bang started here about 13.8 billion years ago and goes all the way to nothingness in trillions and trillions of years from now. But on the way there, structures form for some reason. But I thought we just said that we always go from order to disorder. So what's the deal with all these galaxies and nebulae and solar systems all the way to living things? And this is what this whole channel is all about. So I'm glad you're joining me, if you're joining me. And this is my atomizer. We're gonna take it for a spin in a few minutes. After I explain a little bit more about what we are doing here. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video. All right, so we're not gonna get a smooth experience. Let's walk over to the board. And we've got a cat here also. So we're walking over to the board. This is where I would kind of like demonstrate my theories and this book that we have here, The Symphony of Entropy, currently available on Amazon in all formats. So what's the big deal? Why do I care about entropy and you? Well, it kind of seems like it would be some kind of a paradox or an oxymoron, the fact that entropy is synonymous with disorder and chaos, and yet here we are. And so one of the initial questions that I ask in order to make some sense of this is, humans invent things, right? We make airplanes, we make automobiles, and those intricate things are made up of billions of parts, intricately put together, and of course they wouldn't just emerge if you put all the parts in a box and shake it up, or if an airplane went through a tornado, the parts did, and somehow they would come out all put together into an airplane. That doesn't happen. And so the analogy is, how does the human get here? And obviously, for eons and eons, the answer to that is a God. Oop, let's pause there if we could. Oh, wrong one. All right. Sorry about that. We'll continue that. Oh, wrong one. Playing around with the cameras. YouTube is not receiving enough video, so maybe I should plug in next time. And so yeah, we say God, our creator, made us, and then we made the airplane. That's what makes sense. So are we saying that it's no longer physical or physics that does this? Or would we say that a divine intervention, like a superhuman, created us? And so this is where all the beliefs and religions start. And I mean, there's as many of those beliefs and religions as there are big groups of people. So however, today we do have real answers, scientific answers as to how we come about having ordered structures or optimally dissipative configurations from apparent randomness. And it has to do with entropy. So as we talked about our diagram over there, on the way from order to disorder, structures emerge. And you've seen these before, and I'm going to show you in the holodeck in a few seconds how that occurs. But it turns out, so here we've got a diagram of an Earth without living things or humans. Here we've got an Earth with living things. And it turns out that all the potential energy that enters the Earth's atmosphere from the sun, it turns out that with the living things, there's more dissipation. And this is what we seek in entropy. We want to go from order to disorder as fast as possible, and these apparent organized structures facilitate that. And that's the big answer to one of my favorite biophysicists. Please put in your chat below who your favorite biophysicist is. Nice, okay. He says that, let's put it here. He says that the existence of life is no mystery or lucky break, he told Quanta in 2014, but rather follows from general physics principles and should be as unsurprising as rocks rolling downhill. And before that, he says that his equations suggested that under certain conditions, groups of atoms will naturally restructure themselves so as to burn more and more energy, facilitating the incessant dispersal of energy and the rise of entropy or disorder in the universe. Now, that's not me saying this. This is a real life scientist, a physicist, a biophysicist with a PhD. So I'm not inventing all this stuff. I'm just kind of taking what I've learned and spinning it back out the best way that I understand it. So what does he mean by rocks rolling down a hill? And I've got this little diagram here that shows what he might be talking about. I'm going to pause this cam here, hopefully. And so intuitively, it would seem that if you're going to have order, you're not going with entropy or disorder, you're kind of going uphill. And the key to understanding that is the fact that for example, as the sun's energy hits the planet in the atmosphere, it creates a potential energy that things are gravitating to it because they want to absorb it and dissipate it more. And so actually what happens is that the hill of entropy is always increasing, or the potential energy, and henceforth things snowball and emerge and evolve naturally like rocks rolling down a hill. So this is kind of a rehearsal for me because nobody's going to watch this, but I'm getting a little bit better at trying to get my ideas out. And here we've got the first and second laws of thermodynamics. The first one states that we can't create or destroy any energy or matter. It always gets converted to something else. So if you burn a log of wood, for example, that would turn into smoke and ashes, and you get heat and all that stuff. That's a good analogy for life. The second law of thermodynamics is that everything goes from order to disorder on the grand scale. But on the way there, we're going to create structures. And I think the second law is missing something, which is what we're doing today, ODC, optimally dissipative configuration, because while entropy provides the general power and movement of everything in the universe, the ODC, the optimally dissipative configuration, gives it structure and direction, equals us. So now we're going to go to the holodeck and do some demonstrations. Hopefully, maybe. So keep having an error that there's not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So I think maybe I should do a hardwire. I don't know. So imagine like some dye in a glass of water or some ink, and this is what we have right here. And so intuitively, we know that eventually this will turn into just all blackness. But you see how we already are getting some structures forming there? They almost look like galaxies and nebulae. So that's not a coincidence. That's actually how things disperse naturally. And the reason they form structures is that's the best they can do at the time. And I could watch that. I could watch that a lot. Oh, that's beautiful. So we can stop it there. You can start to see where we might be, although this is far into this is like trillions and billions of years into the future, because actually the current age of the galaxy would be more like, we would be more like right here at the beginning at 13.8 billion years. So we've got a long way to go, but this is where all the action is happening right now. All right, some more things. So we're still in the old schoolhouse where this channel originated, Days Post-Apocalyptic World, and now we are changing to asking questions, interacting, and that's the goal of this channel, is is anybody else out there interested in the questions of how and why we're here, and are we alone in the universe? And that's the goal. So I understand we start slow, and I'm just learning to teach this, and people are probably new to learning it. And a lot of people ask about the dinosaur behind me, and they were created by these 3D printers right here. About 1,200 of them put together. And let's go back to, let's look at some more paints in water. You see how they kind of turn into beautiful structures and nebulae. And if we keep going, we zoom in. This is kind of a montage where we zoom into the nebulae, and that's beautiful. And there's a few different ones of these. Turbulence, like an explosion. And then eventually this could very well be the surface of Jupiter, for example. But it happens when you put dye in a glass of water, when you stir your coffee. You can, if you can imagine that, if you could zoom into that, as if we're zooming into our solar system, this is where we would be, somewhere in all that maelstrom happening. And today I put out a new kind of TikTok video, and it's to show this is traffic in a city at night. This is blood cells in the tail of a tadpole. And I'm mesmerized at the similarity between the traffic going on with human traffic, seeing a city at night, and what's happening everywhere in every living thing. And so the question would be, what's the similarity there? We're not saying it's a coincidence, but what happens is that in both cases, you've got the optimally dissipative configuration. And so that's fun. So now we're gonna move over back to the wall, see if we can make so that's the dinosaur that I built. We're gonna see if we can make our atomizer work. And the purpose of this quote-unquote atomizer is to show how before there was life, there were like billions and trillions of molecules and atoms going around on the surface of the planet, in the depths of the oceans. And so how do we get life from that? You know, entropy would say that everything's random, and if you have any kind of life that emerges, it would need to be created by some kind of intelligence designer or a god. And what we're going to do here is we're going to shake up these balls that have magnets on them. Actually, we can continue. We're going to shake this up, and these atoms and molecules, they're going to move, as you can imagine, in all sorts of totally random directions, and they're also going to form structures. And those structures are optimally dissipative configurations. It's not random at all. In fact, we could run this 1,000 times and it would always be different, but that's because the initial conditions are always different. And that's important to consider when we start asking questions about the origins of life. And are we alone and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this guy on. And one of the new features that I have is, on one of my first videos, I turned this on and it's so loud that it would overtake the volume and it was annoying. So as an improvement, I'm going to press a button here that's going to turn off the microphone and turn on like some background music for 30 seconds, and we're going to watch it go. And I say this to show that there's an evolution to this channel, just like there's an evolution to living things, just like there's an evolution to the evolution of, let's say, the car, the automobile. And it always goes in a direction where it improves, it becomes more successful or optimally dissipative. In other words, the better this channel is, the more it will benefit this human, and so my brain is geared to improving it. In the same way that those arteries developed in the tadpole's tail, that's optimally dissipative. So we're discovering the intelligence of the universe. I think that's exciting. Oops, I think I waited an extra second too long. So every time we do this, it's always different. And we didn't come up with a DNA molecule this time around, but if we did it enough times, we would start to see things that might resemble that. So this is what demonstrates. And so millions of atoms and molecules would fit on the head of a pin. And so if we measure that tiny head of a pin, multiply it by all the circumference of the planet and the depths of the oceans, and that's all being bombarded by all these ocean waves and sound waves. And I've got this chart here that's got all sorts of different waves that occur. Infrared rays, so everything affects everything in some way, and you do that enough time, and well, eventually you get life. The next thing I'm going to do before we, let's go to the desk. Let's confirm that there's nobody here, and no chat, that's fine. No harm done, because then I can actually erase this. So I need to keep it. Let's go do a Galileo real quick. Oh wait, what did I do here? Zone desk. Surprised it didn't do it already. Oh, that's there. So how's this light here? So I'll be reviewing this video afterwards, and I'll find mistakes and errors. And what that's going to do is that on the next time, maybe I can improve it. Not enough video. So as long as I'm here by myself, the current stream bitrate is lower than the recommended. We recommend you use a stream of 4,500 kbs. Good to know. But I can do this every day, every night. Let's go do a Galileo to the mezzanine. To the mezzanine. But first, we're gonna, I hear a cat over there. So let's find the cat. Let's play find the cat. All right, let's try this. Okay, where's the cat? We're gonna go to camera 2. Let's zoom in on the cat. Kind of a demonstration. Hey, kitty. We don't have enough light on the cat. That's fine. Still by ourselves. That's cool. Less pressure, but it seems to be working though. That's kind of neat. And all right, let's go do our Galileo. Oh. So what do I mean when I say let's do Galileo? I mean, so I understand that what I'm proposing is kind of new and drastic to a lot of people. And so what I like to present is the fact that at one point everybody knew that the Earth was flat and the Earth was the center of the universe. And some guys come along with a telescope, Copernicus and Galileo, for example, and they're suggesting that actually, well, they know that that's not the case because they observed the planets. But what do? You discover this thing that's going to actually improve science and move forward the advancement of science, but it doesn't exactly line up with the prevailing belief that the Earth is the center of the universe. So I suggest that we're currently in the same situation with having real answers to the origins of life and how and why we're here. However, what's being shown can be offensive to people who already have belief systems as to how and why we're here. So it's kind of, when we present the Galileo example, people are like, oh yeah, obviously that was right. And then if we present it today, we can't see through it. So I think that's a neat, so I feel like I can relate to the struggles that those initial guys had in presenting this, which is 20 or 30 years from now, what I'm saying today is going to be like obvious. I can't believe people didn't know this or follow this. All right, so we are here by ourselves. We're going to go to the desk. I think I'll have some music ready for next time. And also, I think we need a hard line to the computer so that it's enough KBSs, and I'll be doing some tests. But this is fun. This is the dream, to be able to show this and teach this is really what I always wanted. And so we're back to the desk, back in the grand old, and we're seeing some lights. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks for, maybe you'll watch. I don't know that I'll keep this in the roster, but maybe it's fun to see me stumble and flumfer and then compare that to, hopefully in 10 or 20 videos from now, I won't be flumfering and there'll be maybe 1 or 2 viewers. And we're gonna maybe finish off with saying goodbye with our beautiful, lovely, oh yeah. We're gonna say goodbye with Nebulae. Yay! So cute. Bye. Bye. And we're gonna cast off. No messages. Okay. See you guys later. Bye. And